Connecting. You're live and I'm not. Connecting. Jeez. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good
I
morning.
guess it's not meant for me to do
We
it.
interrupted your regularly scheduled program as always. Could be 5 o'clock, could be 6 o'clock, could be 3 o'clock in the morning. Whatever you're doing, we come to interrupt you. And just bring a message.
Okay.
So,
Don't ask me what that's all about, but go ahead.
well, you're live now.
I'm live, I know, but I'm
And
not
it
live
says,
on the
it says
doggone thing.
Judith
It won't.
Elise Brown is right on. Rhythm Right is right on. What up, Rhythm? Let's get the rhythm right.
Wow.
If you in Charlotte, come through Sunday for Father's Day to celebrate the fathers. TD Jakes just sent the message about how hard it is to be a man.
That was deep.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
so
real
deep. I'm going to post it for Father's Day because I think, I know I take it as a personal thing. I may not be able to connect, honey, but that's okay if I can't.
There you go.
No,
It was right there.
I'm telling you, it's not coming in. Go live, and it'll say connecting. And
Yeah, you gotta keep connecting until you get in the right spot.
For the longest amount of time.
Till you get in the right
I
spot.
don't
But
know what
anyway,
spot I'm missing.
yeah, you just gotta get in the right spot. Ooh. But anyway, we just wanted to get on here and talk about
no, we're going to talk about survival.
survival
No.
this morning.
Your mama gave you that
Yeah,
theme this morning, but she left it very open. So, what is about talking about surviving mean to you?
surviving being a man.
Mm.
Or just surviving, period, like us.
No, I mean you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Look. If anybody doesn't know me by now, Judy is not that I have anything against girl power, women rock, and all that, but men, how few empowerment besides Brian McNeil, how few empowerment things are there for
Indeed.
men, and I think it's very important. You can leave out half the equation when it's just about women, okay? And since men don't talk as much as women, I need you to speak. I need you to speak on that subject.
Yeah, so, I know it's hard for me as far as being a man, as far as,
I'll just put it on there later.
working. We gotta go with
we've been talking
working.
about that.
A lot of y'all don't pay attention to any of my posts, or y'all take the posts the wrong way. When I talk about the surviving, basically, from the janitor's closet,
So you can
and
explain to them what that means.
that's about basically living survival, being patient with the process while praying. And so I'm very patient with the gifts and the talents that I have in time and due time to be revealed. But at the same time, I gotta do what I gotta do to survive. And I think sometimes it's very frustrating when you're at a point to live to survive. You're living to survive. And that's all you're doing. They used to have, who made the song Survival of the Fittest, Only the Strong Survive? With Mobb Deep.
You go ahead.
Mobb Deep. But, you live, all want to live to be successful, and we all have our own definition of what it means to be successful. We define what it means to be successful. But we all have to, when we define survival, I think survival comes we all define it the same way when it comes to survival, because we're trying to put food on the table or whatever we're trying to do. We're doing it to survive, doing it to maintain. And it's very hard. It's very hard. Mama said come up with the topic survival. But I look at Mama all through the years of basically taking care of the mentally handicapped children or adults for 30 years. And you're talking about almost 70 years old right now and still doing it. And she's at a point, and she's working as CMS substitute, and she's doing all of that to only come up with one thing. That's to survive.
You know, it's that's deep. And then on my end, we have a phrase that, if anybody's on here that knows me, we call it survival mode. And it's what you do when you know things aren't going well, or money isn't the way you want it to be. Either your finances or the job or whatever it is, and we call it survival mode. And survival mode is you cut out everything that isn't about the basics. Putting food in front of your table, keeping the lights, as many things as you can. We're not talking about creature comforts. Let the cable go, you know what I'm saying? I'm not shopping. People will be putting their own toenail polish on, can't afford that pedicure. So survival mode is not easy, because literally you get down to the brass tacks of what keeps you alive. Food, heat in the wintertime, cool in the summertime, and that's it, and a roof over your head. You give up everything else. And that's a hard place to be. And if you're there for an extended period of time, I have a friend right now who's sort of like, Judy, why? And what's next? And I can't, why is God doing this? And I mean, she's got a lot of questions about surviving and how long is this going to last? And she made a comment last night, and she knows who it is. I doubt she's on here. We'd have to invite her. But she made a comment like last night. She said, my back is up against the wall so hard and for so long that there's an imprint. She said, if I should even ever get up off of this wall but have to get pushed back, I know exactly where I'm going because my back fits up against the wall. And that's a hard thing to say, that you've been up against the wall so long that you done made an imprint in the wall just for you.
But you know what, though? When those that really know me know that I'm a wrestling fanatic. I'm a wrestling fan. So a lot of times, like, I look at situations that I go into as far as how to survive through these obstacles, and I look at what would Sting do. Not the new Crow Sting, but the old Sting, the one, the warrior, the one with all different types of paint on his face that everybody was basically after. I look at what John Cena would do when his back against the wall, how he handled things. It's various people that Dusty Rhodes, how would he handle things? A lot of people talk about the greatest of all time is Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan or whatever. Hulk Hogan was Hollywood from the beginning. He was more, Vince McMahon was a genius, but Hulk Hogan was mainly the look of WWF, or the look of wrestling, tall, broad, real big, muscular, whatever. But you look at a young kid in his 20s coming from California, didn't even pursue wrestling, just went in the gym, and a couple of people told him, that he should be a wrestler. So he pursued it, went in the wrestling game, and basically just created a whole new genre. He was very energetic, very friendly, and the whole world was basically out to, the whole wrestling industry basically was out to get this one dude who the fans loved, and there'd be 4 to 8 people jumping on this one dude. His name is Sting, a man called Sting. And when they jump on him, they might beat him down, might break his arm, might break his leg, might just tear him up and beat him down. But he would always come back and beat the odds. That's what I looked at. I look at John Cena. Always came back and beat the odds. Was always being good. Always being that dude that you love to hate, because he's all about love. He's all about trying to satisfy people, his surroundings. And I look at people like that, and that's how I get through my day. Also, the love of God,
Amen.
from what basically God brings to the table. Yeah, exactly. Somebody done got up on it. Dusty Rhodes, baby. Dusty Rhodes, you feel my pain. But
You want you so crazy.
you look at, no, somebody,
I saw it. I
yeah,
saw
there ain't
it.
nothing to play with. Dusty defined the odds. Whenever he got in that ring, he was one of the greatest talkers. I mean, he talked with a passion. He was a son of a plumber talking with a passion about, just how he grew up, how he was raised, and he loved people. And the Four Horsemen, Dick Murdoch, everybody tried to take out that dude because of the type of dude that he was, that the fans just loved. He didn't have a sex appeal. He wasn't the sexiest person in the world. He didn't look good. He was a country boy straight out of Austin, Texas. And he came in with the bionic elbow. People couldn't stand him. But he still overcame the odds. He was a survivor.
Survivor.
So I look at people like that. JO always get on me because he say I think wrestling real. So every time,
Hey, but you know what?
every
Look, if
time
you
he
can
sees
take
me,
if you
but
can take away that life lesson from wrestling, what in the world? Please, I'd rather you take away that life lesson than what's on television nowadays, and what people are taking away as just dog eat dog and get yours, and I got mine, you get yours. I'd rather you take that away. But I mean, when you're in that survival mode, you can't pay attention to a lot of other people about what they're doing or what they're saying, even if it's against you. You cannot pay attention. You've got to focus on what your house needs, what you need to survive. And we were talking mostly materially, but in survival mode, sometimes you have to focus on that spirituality because your mind is under attack. Your mind is like, okay, you know what? Look at all your friends doing better than you. I live that. I had to come out of the workforce in my 30s. And I was on a roll at the time I had to come out. And, there my friends are going on making more money. And, just they're getting a new car. I'm still sitting there. I had a 20-year-old car and I had it for 15 of the 20 years, okay? And Judy trying to keep the little car together while everybody's like, oh, I got my new this and I got my new that. And, they're getting their clothes. And so spiritually and emotionally, I had to create a survival mode to be able to be happy for my friends, but at the same time, don't let it attack me. And I call it a faith walk. Faith walk is when is a storm, and you have got to turn up your collar and cover you as much as possible so that you're not focused on the storm. You're just focused on putting one foot in front of the other. And that's how I get in survival mode. Because I don't want to be not happy. I want to be happy for my friends, right? They're doing well. But at the time in my 30s, when I ended up in a wheelchair, when I couldn't go out of my house unless it was by special transport or, somebody came and drove me, when I had to live on so little money, I won't even tell you at one point, especially when I broke my leg, how little money was coming in that house. And I still had 2 children to try to help them go to school every day. And, things I had never learned, I had to learn. I learned more I wrote my post today saying I went to the resource store for Habitat of Humanity. Oh, yeah, I learned the thrift stores, okay? Because that was all we could afford. We could not afford anything else. T-shirts, pants, shoes, everything came out of the doggone thrift store. So, I learned how to survive that dry period. And I had to learn how to emotionally and spiritually stay strong. Because that's the battlefield is the mind, okay? And if the devil can destroy you, if circumstances can destroy you and set you on the side so you are no good to anybody, that's a victory for them, okay? That's a victory. So you're trying to overcome these things that are coming against you. You know, I'm going to talk about something. Poverty isn't fun. Okay, poverty, we all want to not talk about poverty, but it exists. We all want to talk about how we may be giving to some other people, but if you go through it, which is what I did, I went through it.
And we still going through it in a way.
Poverty, well, no, nothing compared to
So what
nothing.
you not
Oh my
back in those
God.
days?
What I went through in Maryland, when literally, you know, I understand. I'm going to talk about some things whether people want to hear it or not.
No,
I
talk about
understand why people sell their food stamps. Okay, I understand because you cannot buy toilet paper with food stamps. So when you're sitting there saying, I need some cleaning supplies, this is where Agape Pantry came from. This is why I help the blessing bags so much. Because I know what it's like to have a couple of $100 worth of food stamps and need some bleach, or need some foil paper, or need toilet paper, or some toothpaste. You suddenly are like, how do I get these things? So I understand why people do what they do. I understand why people abuse substances. Because you don't want to be sitting there thinking every day, I can't keep the lights on. I can't feed my children. I can't. You don't want to keep saying those can'ts. And so you numb yourself out. This is why I have a heart so much for people who are homeless, people who are in poverty, the disabled who feel sometimes they're so isolated from everything you cannot get out. I went through that. Okay, a year and a half, I was in a wheelchair and not able to leave my house. Okay, until I had back surgery. So poverty is a fierce evil, and it will destroy you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally if you are not able to survive.
But imagine it's a way, because I still think in a way I'm living through poverty, and I haven't basically crossed that line in order to, you know, I was trying to find another P in order to get paid. I was trying to find P to match poverty. J.O., if you can help me, you know, that's good. J.O. is the type of dude who has his own businesses. He don't believe in working for anybody or whatever. So he has like numerous businesses. So big ups to J.O. Give Jason some love. But just imagine you trying to get to that next level, but still surviving, still going through the storms,
still showing
trying to survive.
At a dead-end job.
Yeah,
oh my
at a
goodness,
dead-end
how many
job,
people
not
can
just
relate to that? I'm still showing up at this job, but I have my dreams. And you start to see your dreams manifest, okay? But you still got to show up at the job, you know. But the people don't appreciate you. Oh my God. They don't appreciate what you bring to the table. They don't care about your dreams. Just show up, do what I told you to do, and I'm going to pay you these little slave wages. I mean, you know, literally, I understand all of that. I understand all of that. But what we're saying is, one, we believe you can survive. If I have gone through what I went through, and that was so many years ago, if I've gone through what I've gone through, you know, literally.
Tell them what you've gone through. Give them a testimony
of what I went through.
What you went through, because you talk to me every day.
We're gonna talk brass tacks.
I'm
serious. You want me to tell them it's not easy to talk about, because literally, like I talked about that faith walk, I had to shut my eyes to so much. There was a point where, first of all, my back just gave out. It was like, you know what? And by the time I got to the doctors, he was like, you got a back of a 70-year-old. You're gonna need surgery. And then I fell and broke my leg. I went and got this little piece of a job, and working with the school, we had to go out to people's homes, and I broke my leg. And that turned into a 6-month ordeal, because it turned into nerve damage and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so suddenly Judy is completely out of work. And then on top of that, we had Hurricane, I don't know if it was Sandy that came through and made us homeless. We were living in my friend's house, and I lost my contact lenses and glasses in that hurricane. So Judy is legally blind now. So somebody literally has to take me from point A to point B. Somebody has to take me shopping, because I cannot, you know, for me to read the labels was like, what are we buying here? And I had to stay focused during that time. So there was a workers' comp case. But at the time, what did they were paying me? $477 a month.
Not a
Rent,
week.
not a week, a month. And my rent was $605 a month. So you're already at a major deficit. We're not even talking about electricity, telephone, nothing. You're just talking about, can I keep a roof over my head and the heads of my two children? And literally, it was nothing but prayer, God, and I had to learn to speak up. That was one thing the lady told me when I went to the DSS office. She said, squeaky wheel gets the oil. She says, I can tell you've never been in this situation before, but you will not get anything you need by being quiet. You're going to have to learn to speak up. And she said, I know you got pride about it. You've never been in this situation before, but I had to learn to open my mouth to the appropriate people in order to get what I needed. And it taught me how to advocate for myself and other people. There are services out there. Do not sit in your pride and feel like, okay, well, it's just going to end. I had no idea that situation was going to go on for a year and a half before I won the case. Then when I went to apply for disability, the same lawyer who helped me with the workers' comp case, he says, you're too young, you're too intelligent, they're not going to give it to you. I said, but I'm dealing with enough physical things going on in my body that I cannot work full-time anymore. I can't. I know I still got a powerful mind. Thank God for that. But I knew that I couldn't work full-time, driving to somebody's place, sitting there for 8 to 10 hours, and then driving home. It wasn't going to happen. I had to go, and I learned how to do it myself. I filed my Social Security myself. When the first denial came, I figured out this is what you do, appeal within 60 days, did that. Second denial came, went to before the judge, and that's the only time I brought the lawyer in. And we were in there for 5 minutes. The man was like, oh no, you cannot work. You cannot work. And it took the judge 5 minutes to say, ma'am, go ahead and home. Okay? So then, of course, you get that lump sum. You feel like you're a millionaire, but you're not a millionaire. You got all these bills.
As soon as you get it, because the bills on
bills were already piled up, and you owe this person your credits in the toilet, and the children are running around with threadbare stuff you got from the thrift store. So I tried, but I did. I meted that money out very nicely. Everybody know me. It's the National Bank of Judy. Judy don't spend money unless she has to. And even then, my mother taught me, who worked for retail, she said, Judy, never pay retail for nothing. Only fools pay retail, because if you knew the markup, you wouldn't pay it. So she always taught me, look for quality, go and get that used stuff. Don't sit there and act like you got to have... These rich people give away name brand stuff. Just know and find where they give it away. And you'll get it for half the price, 1/4 of the price. Seriously, my mother taught me little things that I didn't even need until I couldn't work anymore and had to survive. So you're talking about somebody who, people say, oh, you make less than I was making less than $10,000 a year and learned how to survive on that.
So basically, through your experience of making $10,000 a year.
Let me do the math. Go ahead and keep talking. Because I know it's got to be little.
Through 10,000, let's just say 5,000 from today, maybe from how much you make or how much we make together, you know how to survive.
I know how to survive.
Through that.
Okay, there you are. $5,724.
A year.
A year.
Repeat that. Repeat that for the people.
$5,724. $477 a month. Okay? And I mean, people say, oh my goodness, I couldn't survive on less than blank, blank, blank. And I get that. Because right before I was disabled, I was working, I was assistant to the CEOs and founders of companies. I was, conference and convention manager of doing my best week. We did 14 shows in 13 days. And I stayed at the office and coordinated the whole entire thing. Judy's brain is powerful, but my body is not. And so, but there was a time when Judy was making really good money. Really good money.
But see, you don't see what you just said. You don't hear what you just said. Your brain, the first sense, the most powerful sense, am I right or wrong?
What's your
The
brain?
most powerful sense
Well, that
of your
directs
body.
everything. That directs
In your body.
everything.
If your brain don't work, your body don't work, period. But you said you still had your
I still
brain
have my brain.
to work while your body was not moving. Hallelujah.
Amen. But you know what? And that's what I teach people now. As a disability advocate, when I come to somebody and I hear the word can't, what did I tell the kids the other day? Can't is not part of our
Can is a
vocabulary.
cop out.
It's
Oh,
not
that's it.
part of our vocabulary. We
Yeah.
do not say that. What we say is you may need to do something different than everybody else is doing it, but it doesn't mean you can't. You know, this is why I became a disability advocate after going through what I went through and having to reteach myself so many things. You know, getting my degree using text readers and speech to text writers. That's how I got my degree. 3.92 GPA, okay? In less than the time needed. But my brain was powerful, but I needed different things to help me. The problem is a lot of people don't know what's out there. And my goal is, don't say you can't do anything. And this is what I used to tell my friends. I'm like, if I could do this on so little money and needing all of these assistance and help and this, that, and the other thing, what could you possibly do? And you can drive 50, 60 miles and you can stay up for 16 hours a day and you can, work out I could not even get to the point of doing 5 days in a gym because my body will seriously badly react. Inflammation, soreness, stiffness. So it's like there's so many things I had to do ever since I got sick in order to keep the energy that you guys see. You guys see the energy. What you don't see is Judy, and he
What
gets to
she's
see.
going through
Oh
the day.
God!
All the pain
the
that she's
pain, my
going
hands
through.
swelling because
She
we're moving
can't.
these boxes.
I can't hug up on her sometimes. I give her a kiss. I get her to lay down. I couldn't even get her to lay down. That's why we on Facebook Live right now, because she can't lay down.
Not for
Because
too
her
long.
back will start
I got to
hurting.
get up. I got to move. I got to change position.
Now I got off 2 o'clock in the morning, people. 10-hour shift. And I can't go to sleep because this woman is not beside me. When I woke up, when I rolled over, usually I cuddle with her. And next thing you know, she out the bed.
I'm out.
Because she can't lay in the bed because of her
I
back and
can't
her
stay
issues.
still for too long.
And
so,
she can't stay still.
the thing of it is what we're talking about is, you know what, you're so sweet. I'm surviving, people. One, you are capable of doing it. I want to do this positively. You are more than capable, okay? God says that we are more than conquerors. I never understood the depth of that verse until I got sick. Oh my goodness. More than a conqueror. Okay, a conqueror is a person who gets up and goes to work. You get over it. No, more than a conqueror is when you have to build a home office and they can't even see. You can switch it around. A little computer sitting in the corner. Let me see. Will it turn around?
Woo.
Just show them the computer. 2 computers in the corner waiting for a desk. And we're going to get that up there. I've always had a home office. So you can put it back. We can work at home. We can continue to do what we do for Single, Saved, and Serious at home. So everything is about learning whatever obstacle you're coming up against is learning how to meet that challenge. In fact, I used to have a little thing. Had 2 things hanging over my kids' bed. One was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the other one was, obstacles are placed in front of you to test your resolve and determine whether you're going to meet your goals. Obstacles are not meant to stop you. So survival mode is not a terrible thing. Survival mode is where I grew the most. A year and a half of laying in the bed. I laid in that bed looking at the popcorn ceiling like, okay, God, what is this? 16 pills a day because of the pain and the nerves and the muscles and all that nonsense. But I began to read his word. I had nothing else to do but read the Bible. Sat there and read his word. And passages I read as a child suddenly had new meaning because of the position I was in, because of the situation I was in. Mm-hmm. And so now, and I remember telling God this. I said, God, if you get me back up on my feet, I promise you got me for the rest of my life. I had a great childhood. ran off to high school, did everything I wanted to do, and here I was laid up, can't move, making pittance, trying to keep two children happy, plus take them to their doctors and everything else because they had autism, so we had doctors. You can imagine it was crazy. It was like a little three-ring circus, me trying to get the wheelchair on the special transit and take the child to this doctor and that doctor, or somebody coming with me when I couldn't see. I mean, I'm telling you, people, it was crazy. It was crazy. Looking back now, I'm like, nothing but God helped me get through that, survive that thing. Mentally, I should have been broke down. By the time they finished taking the cast off my foot, I had to wear these special shoes with a metal plate.
Can I show them the foot, even though that's my foot?
He said,
I'm going to show you the foot. It's my foot, but I'll show y'all the foot. See? Okay, now explain your foot.
Showing people my feet.
Now explain your feet.
People.
Hold on.
Put your fingers in the way.
Yeah, explain.
This was a foot that was swollen twice the size, all the way up to my knee. There was no feeling from the knee down. I could not, any of this flexing stuff, I could not do. It took about 6 months of therapy just for them to get me to roll my ankle around like this. Get off my foot now.
Yeah, they can't do nothing with it. I can do something with it.
Hush.
And she said.
But I'm just telling you, sometimes we don't know what other people have been through. So I'm just sharing a little bit of our story, my story, of the amount of physical things that I've been through. And that leg will still act up. That leg, I mean, good God, if I'm standing more than, what is it? You notice now I can't stand more than, 40 minutes an hour.
Yeah.
And then it starts swelling, it starts cramping. Worst Charlie horses you have ever seen. You can see my muscles just having a fit. And, so literally, when you see me going, that's because of so many days of resting before and so many days of resting after. But what I'm trying to get to you is, I've learned how to adapt to that situation. It is not that situation stopped me. It doesn't stop me. And we still have a wheelchair. I still have a 3-pronged cane and a regular cane. Back from the day, and it reminds me of where I came from. It reminds me how far I've come. I've even got some heels now, because there were years, for about 10 years after that, I couldn't wear heels at all. Nothing but these special shoes with special socks and the whole 9 yards on this leg. But I'm telling you this because when you're going through survival mode, you need, one, keep your faith intact. You need to really connect to something bigger than you and your situation. Okay, and that's God. Secondly, I say this all the time on a regular. Please stop surrounding yourself with the pity-pat misery people. They love company, but don't invite them over.
No, I'll put them on blast.
Okay, just
Please
don't.
Come around
just don't come over here talking about how, this is why when I was going through, and even as a person on disability, I stay away from the, I just had my surgery, and I don't want to hear about that. You still have dreams and things that God has put inside of you to do.
Yeah, but some of them just do that to get out of something. I know people that get surgeries all the time to get out of work. Like, I was thinking about it, to be honest with you.
I'm not around lazy people.
To be honest with you, I was thinking about it yesterday. I wonder what can I operate on in order to get in, what is
You're
it?
not going to operate on nothing.
What is it, not disability, what they call it, workers' comp or something?
Workers' comp, you're just going to slip.
Comp, yeah. Well, I wonder how I'm going to fall incidentally and
you know what?
get off a couple of weeks.
But the point of the matter is to stay away from the negative people.
At 40 years old, you crazy. Shoot. At 40 years old,
You're just so
early retirement, I get operated on my back and not being able to work again and being able to do what I need to do.
He thinks that's funny. I've had that.
I do it. I mean, it's not funny. Now, I know somebody who did it. We talk about it all the time. I know plenty of people that get foot surgeries, back surgeries. They even get butt surgeries. I done sat on my butt for too long, and now they ain't got to work. They get disability and every doggone thing.
Anyway, we're not talking about the fakers and the shysters.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm like, God, show me a sign or I'm going to do it.
Oh, no, you're not. Anyway, stay away from the negative people. And then don't give up on your dreams. Don't. I know you're going through survival mode. I know it looks like things will never happen. You don't have that dream for years now, and it's not coming to pass. And there's things still that I dreamed of during that time that I haven't put into place yet. But the point of the matter is, don't give up on your dreams. Don't act like survival mode is a place to abandon things or abandon ideas and goals. It's a place to think about them because now you got a little bit more time. You know, this is what I used to say. Survival mode is where you get ready for the wave, and when the wave hits, you want to be ready. So don't look at survival as a place where, oh, this is a place to give up. That's a place to hone the process, think through some things, you know, take a little extra time for research. You know, use that survival time.
And not only that, but if you can get through one obstacle,
Jesus,
yeah, I'm crying because I'm trying to get off of work. I'm trying to find a way not to work, and I'm crying like, God, I'm crying to you, brother. But you are not serious. But if you can get through one obstacle, you can get through several.
Mm-hmm. You can get through.
You can
Each
get through.
one makes
so
you
just
stronger.
just think, it makes you stronger, and a lot of times you don't even have to prepare for the next obstacle to come.
Sometimes you
because
can't.
And you can't prepare.
You
can't prepare because there's so many obstacles. You're gonna always deal with obstacles as you're living. There's no way. You're always gonna deal with blocks as you're living every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how do you maintain?
And what do you?
Because certain people are looking. Everybody is looking at you. People are looking at you that you don't even know that's looking at you.
That's just true.
And you got to look at how they're looking at you, and what are they looking at you for? Why are they looking at you?
Mm-hmm.
There are people on here now. We got Nick Lewis, we got Portia,
Nick Lewis is
we
on
got
here. We ain't talked to you in so
we got
long.
Simone, we got Malik, we got Cuzzo, Malik
You
Williams,
know I'm
we
coming
got
to get
yeah, get them,
We got to
choke
come
'em.
get you.
But look,
We love you, but I'm coming to get you.
we got Jo. And we got Mo, we got Mozon, James Mozon, we got
Yeah, I see
Flossie
that.
on here.
Flossie.
We got Angie.
Talked to that dude in a
You
long
know,
time.
we got Chantel Harvey, and we got Rhythm Right. I don't know if y'all still on here, but the point is, there's somebody right now that's looking at us right now
Yeah.
that we don't see. So next year at this time, we're going through survival right now in this townhouse, whatever, trying to maintain. I'm going to work. My boss just called me. My supervisor just called me, told me to give him a call. He probably going to tell me to go in, and then I'm going to do the janitor's closet Facebook Live. He going to tell me to come in early or come up with some type of nonsense, some type of foolishness to go out of my way when I was just talking to y'all. You know, but the point is, like, from all of that to Judy talk, because Judy talk a mile a minute, right?
Sure.
But Judy talk and all of that y'all see within me, somebody's looking at us that we don't even see. And trying to see how we're going to survive through our obstacles and our challenges that we're going through now.
And you know what? Yes, we're talking about poverty or different things like that, jobs that we don't particularly love. But don't think that other people don't have challenges.
Yeah.
Everybody has challenges, and it may not be survival. You may look at them and say, oh, materially, they're doing wonderfully. But are they they might be in survival mode emotionally. They may be an emotionally, you know, wreck of a person. You know, their emotions and their spirituality may be in a poverty sense. So, you know, don't think that, well, well-to-do people are also well-to-do in every other area of their life. They're not always. They're not always. But what I'm trying to say is, to me, after having been 45 days in a hotel and then on his mama's couch, this is not survival to me. This place is going to be someplace that we can invite people to, and we can bring people into. I know it is for you because you're working this job. But my goal, and you know what my goal is to be.
Tell him you go. Tell him you go.
My goal is to get him out of that nonsense because he's this person who works physically, but he's an idea man. He's always been an idea man, and I feel as if when we can convert the things that you think about into money making propositions, then you can come on out of that. I'm very close to. I'm thinking that you're going to be coming out of this soon. I give it no more than another year because my goal is to get you writing. You got to get that book done. That play is now sitting here stagnant. That need to get done. The second documentary, where is he again?
Malik David Williams.
is we're waiting on that.
Malik, you still on here? He probably just logged
probably came
off
off,
because
it's
you
okay.
called him off.
No, I didn't call. I didn't say a single word. I just said.
Don't you talk about my
I'm
cousin?
just coming to get you.
Yeah, don't you do that to my cousin.
You know, we have our own little relationship.
Yeah.
But you know, there's things that we want to do with single, safe, and serious that can become, you know, monetary, money making propositions, and therefore also we're going to be changing the status of the company so that we're open to more monetary opportunities. So that I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, explain that to people who might be saying like you use God. You know, some people be like, I can't get paid. You shouldn't get paid off God. You using God in order to pimp people and stuff like. You know, you got people.
Well, we're seeing it a lot because of churches who build these big edifices in these poor neighborhoods, and then the poor neighborhood don't get none of that money, and they drive up in fancy cars and they don't live in the neighborhood. Listen, Judy used to live in South Park. I probably already said that. We're living in Greertown. And the reason I moved from South Park and took a place in Greertown, or would have taken a place in Hidden Valley, was because I got sick and tired of a nonprofit organization just worried about whether they would get a new Starbucks, okay? But this is more important what we're doing. We are out here with people. You know, you drive up and down Marvin Road, it's like the stroll, okay? And I see people out there all day
and they're
long.
surviving.
Or they starting to, they went and got their 32 ounce at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, ooh, it's going to be a long day if you're starting so early. What I'm trying to say is these are people who are in survival mode, who really need attention. Not another Trader Joe's. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you would like a nice, fancy
or
store,
Dollar General.
but you driving the Hummer to go to Trader Joe's anyway. So, you know, but here are people who are worried about police brutality. Okay? Here are people worried about how their neighborhoods are cut off so they don't receive services. We're in neighborhoods where, you know, the houses have to be reclaimed and revitalized. That's so much more important. Okay? You know, I'm not nobody's Mother Teresa, but at the same time, don't come to me talking about, oh, well, you know, the McDonald's. We don't need a McDonald's. We need a common market. We need this.
We need people, man.
We need
people.
People's lives are on the balance. There are children out here whose lives are decided in the balance of what they're seeing around them. And I'm not going to worry about how you got your coffee or what food truck rally came to your neighborhood when there are people out here who desperately need help. Okay, that's just the way I feel. And so when we turn Single, Saved, and Serious and all the other things we do into a nonprofit, it is never going to be about, well, how much money we put in our pocket this week and how can we fleece the people? Are you kidding me? If anything, we've proven our track record where we've done all of these events for nearly 2 years and what?
Then get paid.
And don't get paid
free
or ask if it's for a free will offering and donation. Or if we do, we never charge more than what, $10 or $10.
$5 or $10.
I think we haven't even hit a $25 event.
And we haven't even asked anybody basically for donations really outside
Well, I
of
do. Well, on the Eventbrite, there's a place for donations, but at the event, we don't go around asking for donations.
We don't go around.
The point of the matter is that our goal is to give back to the singles so that they feel that they're important, to the married people and engaged people when they come out and have a good time, when we can go out and be part of Samaritan's Feet and do community service, or we can show up to a Stop the Violence rally and we can maybe have giveaways to give to people so that they understand that they're important. That's what we do.
Well, I just got a text while I was on Facebook Live just now about somebody coming out Sunday to do a giveaway to the men.
Yeah.
So
okay, wonderful. Yeah, we support people who do the giveaways. By other people's support, we were able to put into Charlotte Humans, the blessing bags and the donation. Mm-hmm. So, you know, trust and believe. If you give us anything, it's going right back out. Because we over here in Greertown in a little 2-bedroom, and it's not about we're going to get a mini mansion in order to live large on anything that anybody does. Our goal is to be right here giving to the people.
Giving back to
our
the
prayer calls.
You know,
we don't. People, I heard there was $1,000 prayer call line. Fred Breeden put that up.
what do you mean?
$1,000 prayer call line. That means you put in $1,000, they're gonna pray for you to get a new home. Yes. Is that not like sacrilege and nonsense?
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Hello.
The oldest scam in the book.
But it's ridiculous what people are doing, and it's our people
And
in
that's
survival mode
desperate.
who are so they're desperate.
Desperate.
They're desperate. They want to get out of the situation they're in, and so they're willing to give some shyster $1,000. Please pray for me. I remember when there used to be the prayer bricks or the prayer oil and the prayer cloths, and well, give us $100. We'll play you this, send you this prayer cloth. That man, we do our prayer every single Friday, and I just had somebody yesterday who's been sick now for 2 weeks, and she's trying to do her master's degree. I think it's a master's, and she's not able to even get to her internship. And she's like, Judy, you know what? Can you remember me in your prayer? And then she says, you know what? Not just can you, but please do remember me in your prayer. Okay, I don't know even the spiritual status of this person. It does not matter. She is asking for prayer because she needs something bigger than herself.
Well, we'll pray for you for $500,000. All right, $500,000. You just call the prayer line tomorrow,
Charge somebody
and
$1,000.
you know, and you'll be recovered. You'll be restored right then, right there. After the $500,000, and you'll never see me again. But you'll be restored. And the reason you'll be restored is because you'll be restored because I told you you'll be restored as soon as you pay that $500,000.
You know what, that's just so crazy. That's the silliest things that people do. But when you're in survival mode, you can get desperate. But this is my thing.
I'm serious. Yeah, survival mode.
Survival mode, people can get desperate, and they will be
and
like,
they give up on God.
And then you've got these wolves in sheep's clothing telling you, make sure you do your tithe. And you know what? We're going to a touchy subject, and I know somebody ain't going to like me.
That's the book of Malachi. But go ahead and explain.
During that year and a half that I was sitting there with $477 a month, I did not tithe. Okay, I just didn't. It didn't make any sense. And when I went to God about it, I said, Lord, I don't even have enough to hit the rent. How am I going to tithe from this? And God, in his infinite wisdom, through the Holy Spirit, he took me into the Old Testament when people were giving those offerings and those different things. A farmer, when is his harvest? Once a month or once a year?
Once a month, I believe.
What, a farmer?
Do I look like a farmer?
You need to know something.
You
don't know nothing. When does a person get their harvest?
Ain't nobody on here.
Once a year. Once a year. Somebody send across some hearts and loves. Once a year.
No.
And you know what God told me? He said, Judy, you're doing the little taxes. Pay your tithe once a year. God is not sitting there with an adding machine going, you didn't miss that, you missed that much. And if you even look in your Old Testament, offerings were given according to what a person can do. Not everybody had a lamb. Sometimes they bought 2 turtle doves, okay? Lambs and turtle doves, 2 different levels. Sometimes they gave a wheat offering, which they could probably glean from a farm. Okay, so God is not sitting there looking at you, making sure you gave 10. If you gave 9.5%, he ain't gonna be upset that it wasn't exactly 10. I need y'all to understand, this is not a bank. God is not a bank. What you deposit is what you get out. God's math is not. It's not our math. Okay, I call it spiritual math. You give 10, you get 100. You know, you give 5, you get 5,000. All through that year and a half that Judy could not tithe. Do you know how many people sold into me and I didn't even... There was one time I got the mail and opened it and all it did was a check fell out. There wasn't even a letter to explain what the check was for, but it met my needs. It met my needs that time. The light stayed on. We did not get evicted for a whole year and a half.
Yeah, because a lot of times...
I learned about tithing.
Yeah.
I learned about, listen, God says, cheerful giver, give. And
You know what
also,
I'm
there's
saying?
ways to tithe that don't have to do with money. He said, if you bring the stranger or the person who's poverty stricken into your house and feed them, or take something from you and give it to somebody else, that's tithing. That's
And
tithing.
that's what I do. You know, whether I'm on the street and I give somebody a cheeseburger or, you know, a
Yes.
Happy Meal or something
Let's
like
stop
that.
thinking
Or whether I'm
that
at church.
tithing is all about
When I'm at
money.
church and I give you church people, you know, my flyer to come to my event. And next thing you know, you look at it, some of you got attitudes or whatever. But it's giving. You know, it's giving.
That's certainly true, because I got to pay for them flyers.
Yeah, I gotta
So-
pay for them flyers.
So-
We gotta pay for them flyers. But not only that, but when I give $1 to the church, I'm still giving.
Okay, look, I'm going to tell a testimony.
And these people up here thinking that, oh, you got using the church as an excuse, give a quarter. You got a quarter. If you can buy a 40-ounce of beer, if you can buy, you know, weed ain't even $10 no more. A dime bag of weed ain't, no, I'm just saying, a dime bag of weed. They don't even smoke regular weed no more. But a dime bag of weed now is $20. And you are telling me they smoke Kush and Habitat, anything else outside of regular weed. They call regular weed Reggie. But you can smoke $20 of weed, right? $20 worth of weed. But you can't give God $1. I give him $1.
And listen, if you go to a church or you see a church and they're not doing right by that money, don't give them any more. I mean, literally, I would rather, right now, we have what? Do we have a church home? We have so many church homes it's not praying.
We got,
this is the way
our church home is a church home that supported us from day one. We might not attend all the time, but Covenant Community Church is our church home.
Spiritual mother and
because
father
they gave us, they didn't have to, and that's survival too. That's a part of survival when we was trying to survive and put on CIAA Christian clean events for you people, and you still didn't. I don't care, and you didn't appreciate it. But anyway, Pastor Lofton and his wife Elaine gave us, provided us in order to entertain you people.
Hush.
Godly entertainment. That's our church home. My church home, the first church that I ever joined. Oh, you shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it, because you know I get pathetic. You just started something, and I'm awarded something. I tried to rap, but anyway, I suck. I completely suck. But anyway, this church that I joined, I reach out to the first lady and the pastor all the time via Facebook Messenger, all of that. The first church I ever joined when I was 31 years old, ever joined. I went to Christian school, I went to Catholic school, but I never joined a church growing up. My parents didn't join a church until my mama didn't join a church until I got out of the house at 20-something. And this first church I ever joined, I begged them, I asked them to come support me. And we were close. We were close. We were very close. Or we felt that we were close at the time. They didn't even back me on anything. Pastor Lofton, who didn't know me from toilet tissue, didn't know me. And he came in and he sowed a seed. Did he not, Judy?
He did.
Did he not?
He sowed not only a seed, but his time and his energy, because he began to tell us, please call me. We haven't had a call in a minute, but he's asked us to. He spends his time counseling us and talking to us. But my point was, we know so many pastors right now that I don't really, even though Covenant Community Church is a special place, they are spiritual parents, I don't see us as having a church home, because we, first of all, will worship and enjoy ourselves with anybody, believers that we find. We've got Charles Robinson, we got Pastor Faulkner, we have different ones, Fred Breeden. I feel at home. And
my big brother, Charles E. Jacobs. I still know.
Thank you.
Listen, big brother. Listen, I'm getting impatient, big brother.
Okay.
But I still support you and I love you and I'm gonna give you a kiss as soon as I see you. So go ahead.
Well, the thing of it is what I'm trying to say, if you would let me finish.
You done got me in
is,
the zone about these
I know
churches.
about the churches, but my point of this is that we worship with the body of believers, and wherever they are, and if there are 2 or 3 gathered on a street corner, we'll show up and have a good time, and that's what's more important. But I'm saying, if you're in a church and you don't like how things are done, pray about it, seek God's will, but don't sit there and complain. Don't sit there and say, I'm just not going to give. Go find some place where things are going to be done in unity with what you want. I mean, give me a break. We got over, nearly 900 churches in Charlotte. Don't tell me you can't find a church. Don't tell me you can't do it. But my thing is also, please don't prey on the people in survival mode. Do not do it. I have taken food from my own pantry to help people. If they say, Judy, I have no food, I'm like, come over here and go shopping. Now, this place, unfortunately, is too small for me to have the big pantry like I used to have it. But still, I'll meet you somewhere. We just want to be able to give to the people because we understand what it's like to go through something. And that's what your experience is for. It's not just for you. It's not just about you. It's about maybe somebody else who's going through, who's getting discouraged, who's feeling down, who's feeling like they can't make it. So your survival is important because it's there to help somebody else.
Yeah. And you got to realize, just like I said before, somebody is always looking at
Watching.
I was at work one time, and I used to walk around with a bunch of arrogance, like, and this old big dude, he was big, he was fat, he was a Caucasian, and, he was like, Chuck had no teeth. I love him to death, but I ain't talked to him since I left the job, which hurts my feelings. But anyway, he would always say, there's 1,000 windows out there, so you better watch what you're doing because there's always somebody watching.
That's deep. 1,000 windows.
1,000 windows, and somebody's always looking at you. Wow. So, you walk around, ain't nobody looking at me, ain't nobody paying me no attention. I'm a janitor. Ain't nobody paying me no attention. They just want to walk around in their $1,000 suits and blah, 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 like they got it all together, right? But they still are watching.
They're watching.
As close as they can. Even people that you think aren't paying you any attention are paying you attention.
How you go through.
How you go through. They're watching basically how you go through. And you really got to. See, that was a prime. Wait a minute. That was a prime example. That was a prime example. Maybe that bill collector who just called me just now, looking for somebody else, is watching me on Facebook Live right now, and I don't even know it. But this is the point, though. Like, you got to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's, not paranoid. You ain't got to be paranoid.
And not fake.
Not fake.
It's okay to tell people you're going through. I had somebody one time message me and say, Judy, nobody wants to hear all about what you went through when you were sick. No, people want to hear positive things on Facebook. They don't want to hear all this negative. I said, first of all, some of these people are going through the same thing, or they have a family member going through something similar. So when I talk about autism, you don't know how many times somebody will say, I got a nephew, I got a cousin,
yeah, somebody going
I got this. My sister just had a baby, and they think that the baby is autistic. You don't know how many times. What are you doing? You don't know how many times that has happened. Or when I tell my story of the struggle that I had when I became disabled and had to come out of the workforce, but still kept on working. My best friend, Natalie, one of my best friends, because I have so many, I love people. But when she became so ill that she had to come out of the workforce, she called me up. Well, how would she know to call me up if I hadn't told her? If I hadn't said something to her? I have people who send me an inbox. Judy, I know you would know this information. I got to deal with the Social Security Administration. What should I say or do? What do you think? How would they know trust and believe people are keeping these things in the back of their head like, if I ever hear about anybody else going through something, I know
Call Judy.
to call Judy. I just got a call from Atlanta. This family, I don't even know the family. But Renia is down in Atlanta, and Renia talks about me like I don't know what, like she paid to. I don't even understand why she talk about me so much. So I have to have this
You heard
conference
what she
call.
called you the other day?
What is she
She
talking?
talking about Craig, no disrespect to you, and Renia Wild. I haven't met her personally yet,
Ooh.
but I talk
She
to her all
she
the
from
time.
Cleveland? No,
we
is it
talk to
Cleveland?
her, Ohio,
Dayton?
somewhere.
One of them Ohio places, okay.
And she I don't want to put her on blast like that because you done gave her name out.
I
but
don't care. She knows we know.
She's
We know
on
each
that
other for
bud.
18 years.
She loves that. What we was talking about. She loves that.
Oh, we ain't got to say all of that, but go ahead and say what you were going to say.
She loves that greenery. That type of
Can
thing.
you
But
get to your point?
anyway, she said you are a bad bee. And she was like, Craig, no disrespect to you. She said, no disrespect to you. You know, I don't know you like that. I don't know you. But I know her, and that is a bad bee. And I say, good God Almighty,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought we were
Renia.
Christians here. Jeez.
Renee, I
But-
don't know what side of town she grew up on, but it's hard for her as a Christian to get rid of that side. So I just love her anyway. I just I'm happy about her anyway, and just let her be who she is, and let God continue to work on her spirit and her mind. But the thing with it is, she was down in Atlanta talking about me to some total, I don't even know the family, and they were discouraged. They were discouraged about the lack of development in their child. And so I gave her a couple of things right off the bat. I said, but I really don't know them, so I don't like to speak too much into that because I don't know the individual child. So it must have got back to them. Now they want to have this whole conference call, and we're supposed to be on this phone, and they want to know, can I come to Atlanta? And I'm like, 4 hours? I guess I could. But the point of the matter is, if I never said anything to anybody,
no one would know.
how would they know? How would she know to tell my story? And how would these people be affected to be able to say, hey, can you just talk to us for a minute?
Way in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And so survival, people are surviving everywhere, and they need to hear your story. They need to hear, Jacinda and Derek put that up one time about, don't just talk about after you came out. It's okay to talk about it as you go through. As long as you're saying, look, I still have belief in God, He's going to get me through this. Mm-hmm. But when I went through 45 days of living in a hotel and sleeping on somebody's couch and getting up every morning, not knowing when I would have a key to turn in my door, I was going through.
And you remember you didn't even want to talk about it.
I didn't. Can I tell you why I didn't want to talk about it? Because I'm honest with people. I didn't want to talk about it because homelessness, I don't, it was a hard subject for me. But guess what? It ain't hard anymore. It's not hard anymore. And now, what I've been through for 45 days, and I see somebody's been through it for years, my compassion level is through the roof, because I can't imagine years when I just had issues for 45 days.
But think about this, though.
And I wasn't living on the street or out of my car.
Think about this. I'm going to be real strong with you now. Now, there's a couple of people that I'm looking at right now. One I know real well, and one I'm getting to know. One I'm managing, and one I partly managed back in the day, right, with North Star. But I think about people like Cuz Love and Jerusalem Slim, and especially Jerusalem Slim, who we call Gat, who y'all need to look up, Boris Thompson. But I think about, like, him through all of these years, him rapping, him singing, him doing all of these things, multi-talented, and him taking sacrifices. He never wanted to work on a job. He always had his girl beside him, but he never wanted to work at a job. He couldn't last long in a job. He got locked up a couple of times, but he still kept going. He still kept rapping. He still kept making music, sleeping out of cars.
Wow.
sleeping out of cars,
I'm gonna run and turn the light on because it's getting dark.
and he still, go ahead,
Go ahead.
and he still was faithful. We saw and edited his, but that's how we want to be. We want to be raw and uncut with y'all. But he's still going through what he's going, still doing what he's doing, making videos, making music, and now he's created a big buzz out of South Carolina, one of the biggest artists that now praises
It's
God,
a lot better.
praises God in his raps, in his songs. He gives God credit.
Credit.
And he spits God. He talks about God. He's doing gospel events, church events all over the world. Just got off of Florida. And you talking about, when I look at people like that and I think about survival, that's what inspires me. That's because I've seen what they've been through. When you see what people go through, you talk about fly tie. People love fly tie in Charlotte, right? People who, especially the people who just came, and I love them too. I just want to hug them every chance I get, right? But the point is, like, you don't know what these people went through or what these people go through in order to survive. If you knew that man's mother, on how she raised 5 children by herself, not 3. We look at the 3 brothers, or we look at Fly Tie, but 5, all by herself, no help, surviving. When mama was sitting there borrowing margarine and sugar, we used to borrow sugar and margarine from each other when we didn't go to the grocery store. I couldn't even go for afford the grocery store, and I wanted to talk about mama. I wanted to go in on mama, but we ain't got a lot of time, because basically mama knows all about survival. And that's why she told us to talk about survival.
I was wondering, I said,
because we got to be patient through the process.
Through the process.
And I don't mean to scream. I don't mean to preach. I don't mean to preach. But God has you in this situation for a reason. And it may be to inspire somebody else. You think Nick Lewis, who's making movies right now, one of the legendary comics from all over the world, not just Charlotte, that man's well known all over the world, right? Nick Lewis, we teamed up with him. It didn't work out the way we needed it to work out. However, that's another story. But you don't think that dude, comedian Nick Lewis, is going through some type of way in order to survive? But somebody's looking at him. Nick Lewis got to be nearly 45, 50 years old and still going, doing what he needs to do, doing what he loves to do, and still surviving. That's one of the prime examples. Malik Williams, my cousin, went to jail, shot people, and he ain't afraid to tell you done shot people. Everything. His brothers and sisters, he had brothers and sisters to get killed. Everything. Multi-talented. But he's still going through survival mode. These are the people that I look at. Mama was on drugs, everything. And he'll tell you. He'll probably cuss me out in the next 15 minutes. But at the same time, you got to realize that these people, these are prime examples that I look up to. And I see every day, like I visualize. While y'all look at Jay-Z or whatever, P. Diddy, I'm looking at these people trying to step one foot in front of the other.
That's right.
Just trying to survive.
That's right.
Now, some of them might not have as much of a belief system as we do as Christians. Who knows? I know Nick Lewis, when Daddy was in the hospital and Daddy was unconscious, he was about a few days, probably a day or two, I think he passed that same day Nick Lewis came to the hospital, dropped me off, and looked at that. He said, I went through that same thing. I couldn't even stay in there because I went through that same thing. Look at him now. Look at him now. Nick Lewis was unconscious, paralyzed, everything, couldn't move, on all types of meds, everything. Look at him now, making movies. God has a way for all of us. It's not in our time, it's in God's time. But you got to learn to be patient through the process and pray while being patient through the process. And we're going to end it right
No, I
there.
got something else I want to say.
Go ahead, because we like to talk,
I
but
know, but you're not.
you hear me? I can go all night long.
Well, you know,
Go ahead and say
we're
something.
talking about them. But something I want to bring up because, again, my parents were definitely old school. And they were definitely old school Christians, you know, onward Christian soldiers, old school. And we've got this new idea about being a Christian that it should only bring prosperity. Yeah, I said it. That it should only bring
it's about to
good
get
times.
deep. I
That
know
it
what
should
you gonna
only
do.
bring
Jesus.
blessings upon blessings upon
Jesus.
blessings, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But the old school saints, when they came out of Jim Crow, when they had to march in the Civil Rights March, when they were there at Washington, when they were having dogs attack them and hoses turned on them, they had an idea that surviving wasn't just about them, it was about the next generation. And what I'm trying to tell some people is, I know we all have these dreams, we all want to make it, we all want to be big, we all want to be, but the best people in my life were two ordinary people, one who worked for 30 years and retired, and the other one who got sick, unfortunately, and had to come out of her job. My mother and father, they didn't have Facebook accounts. They didn't have YouTube channels. Nobody knew them across the world, okay?
Hallelujah.
Nobody knew them across the globe.
Hallelujah.
But let me tell you something. When my mother's funeral, we had to arrange the funeral a certain way because people were saying, don't you dare have this funeral before I get into town. Don't you dare have this funeral during the time I got to work. You're going to have this funeral at night. So we literally had to organize. There was no room in the place. You know, we had to have so many ushers and people there to go out the crowd for my mother's funeral. But nobody knew her on, BET. The point of the matter is that whether you make it big, as far as the world is concerned, or whether you're just big in the world you create,
Jesus.
just be who you're supposed to be. Talk about your story. Talk about your survival, okay? And don't make it about how many people are paying attention to you, because like we said, you don't even know who's paying attention to you. There were people that came to that funeral that I hadn't seen. They were like, there's no way we could have let your mother go out without a certain send-off. And the people that were there, it just blew my mind. Then 7 weeks later, when my dad passed, the people were like, we had people I didn't even know who were paying attention to my father, because he was a very understated, quiet kind of person. But his presence affected people. And they were like, your father was the best man. I had a Caucasian guy that I know was a racist son of a gun, okay? He got shot because he said something racist, okay? And just a no good person. And I went to his house after my father passed, and he cried and said, I'm so sorry I couldn't make your father's funeral, because he was in a wheelchair. He's sick. He said, I don't like black people. Now this is a man. He's saying it.
Hold on. Let me get to the judge. Hold on. No,
Yeah.
we're gonna lean this way so we can charge, because this is getting good. This is getting good. We're gonna lay across the bed. We unedited. We're naked and we're naked
I'm
and
just joking.
and we're
Move over so I can
okay.
say. No, but I'm serious.
And we're interrupting your regularly scheduled program.
But I'm just saying this story. He said, I don't like black people. He said, but your father was one of the best men I had ever met. He said, when there was all these racial issues, your father continued to come by my mother and father's house. I grew up watching your father be different from everybody else. And he says, you're the only person that could come up on my porch and knock on my door unless I paid them. Okay? Live that kind of life. Don't worry about if you got millions in the bank. Some of us are not going to have millions in the bank, and it's okay. Let's try having some real fortune stored up in heaven, okay? Let's really make a difference in people's lives. Let's take your story of survival and make it something that makes a difference in a man who should be racist, but he's going to have to say something good about you. So that's how I want to end.
And you know one thing. I don't think that I don't realize that, my family can't stand me, right? But I know when I die, they're going to say some of the greatest things
They're going to have to.
ever
They're going to have to.
about me when I die. So family, we're going to end it on here. I know that you love me. I know that I call and you tell me to get the hell off the phone, or, if I come to your doorstep, you'll pull out a pistol on me.
Nobody pulls
And
out
things
a
are,
pistol.
oh, you don't think they,
pulls out a pistol.
trust me, they'll tell me that.
might say that.
I'll say I'll come
They
over
don't
there.
care.
I'll be like, I just want to come see you. And they'll curse me out and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
this is real raw and uncut. Lord have mercy.
yeah, it's unedited. But see, that's what you want to be. You don't want to be, I don't want to be that type that's scripted. And you know why?
Why?
Because if I'm scripted, then they wouldn't understand the script. Did that make any sense?
I'm not sure, but I
No, it
understand
didn't.
what
It
you're
really
saying. No, I
didn't.
did. I just see you don't want to be scripted because you don't want to be limited.
And limited to what I'm going to say
and how he gonna
and,
say it.
and how I'm going to do. Because
I never know what he's going to say and how he's going to say it.
I really never know what I'm going to say,
That's
so I
insane
know you
before
don't
God.
know. You
But
don't know
anyway.
what you're going to say, but anyway, what
But
you,
yeah, we just talk out of our experiences.
yeah,
our lives
you
and-
talk because, somebody needs this. I even need this. A lot of times when I talk to y'all, I'm talking to myself.
that we get ministered to. Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
I'm getting ministered right now to myself. Like, how am I going to deal with these people today, 4 o'clock when I go to work? I post things for a reason. I do my Facebook Lives for a reason. We're doing this for a reason. And stop worrying about, and I'm not fussing, right? But please stop worrying about what people are going to think when you post how you feel or you talk about how you feel. Everybody wants to, even the ones that even talk about, they talk about, you shouldn't put that on Facebook. That's because they want to put it on Facebook before you did. You know what I'm saying? So, there was a lot of people that probably had their lives saved because they got on Facebook and they said, I want to commit suicide because I can't deal with this survival process. So I'm about to go shoot myself or kill myself. So you got one that's saying, I'm praying for you. But you got the other that's saying basically, shut up. You don't need to put that out there. You sound stupid. You sound dumb. Then you got others that'll come see you or call you and check on you to make sure everything is okay and talk privately. One of my good friends, one of my good family members saw that I was going through something. Family members from Lewisburg College, Marlon Mann. I've been locked up 7 years. Look him up, Marlon Mann. Locked up 7 to 10 years. And now he's doing great. Drugs and everything back in the day. Now he loves the Lord so much it's pitiful.
Amen.
But not pitiful, but he loves the Lord so
know what
much,
you mean.
right? So and he's raising a family after 7 years of being locked up in prison in the country. But he called me one day and he said, man, listen, I look at you on Facebook, I talk to you, via Facebook or whatever, but it's a difference in talking to somebody on social media than just calling to make sure that that person's all right. So I'm like, yeah, let me call and holler at Chuck and see what Chuck up to. There's all us that's going through. And I know
ways,
in different ways, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, or whether it's spiritually. somebody needs us through that survival.
Somebody needs us to come on through.
Somebody needs us to come through that survival, and we got to make sure that we're there. I know we got a lot going on with our own personal lives, but we got 24 hours in a day, people. I don't care if it's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, whether it's a text, whether you got to wake somebody up in your sleep. Somebody messaged me the other day and told me that they had to pray for me in church because I had a bad weed problem. And it's okay, I ain't got no weed problem. Because I don't smoke weed. Because weed, the only thing that weed
You had a
does,
weed problem?
they had to pray for me because they about smoking weed. You know how people are. You know,
goodness.
they get in them, most especially you women. Y'all get in y'all little emotional settings and want to pray for somebody. But anyway, you know, but I don't smoke weed because weed don't do nothing but make me horny and flunk drug tests. You know, so I don't smoke weed. We'll have a blast.
Are you gonna
if I
end
was
this
to smoke
thing?
weed. Nah, but we'll have a blast.
We're not having that
Turned
kind of
out now,
blast.
good God, oh,
We are not
you
having
wouldn't
that.
know.
Look,
Maybe I need to smoke a little bit of reefer.
No, you
since-
don't do
But anyway,
anything
no,
of the
seriously.
sort. Yeah, please be serious. Because you were serious like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah,
talking
and then
about
next thing you
something
know, but
Mine went off.
hey, I can get serious now.
Can you- can you-
We right there on Marvin Road. They
Yeah,
out
Marvin
2 o'clock
Road.
in the
It's
morning.
hot.
We right there on
Hot
Marvin
day.
Road,
Woo!
bro.
I don't know
But
what's
anyway,
going on up
yeah.
and down Marvin Road.
They was out 3 o'clock in the morning
They out
last
there
night,
24/7.
bro. Walking,
24/7.
yeah, jumping in front of cars and everything. But look,
except when the cops.
Grilltown.
Then the people disappear like a bunch of. Well, anyway,
that what you think?
I was there.
Mm,
The cop
look.
was on the road, and there was no one to be
Right
seen.
here? You talking about
no,
right here?
No, when I was leaving earlier to go to Habitat, the cop was on Marvin Road, and everybody was gone. Gone.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see that last night. But look,
They went over there last night.
I don't know, but look, the point is like, just be there for people, man.
Yes, please.
And everybody ain't meant to be criticized. Everybody they just want somebody to listen and understand.
Understand.
Yeah,
and listen to their struggle.
you don't need. Daddy always told me that don't give advice unless people ask for it.
Yeah, sometimes just listen.
Yeah, sometimes just be
Just
a listening ear to people.
You may not
yeah.
be able to fix something, but you can listen.
And hug them. If I can
just love
find
on
any
some
man,
people,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. If I can find anybody that's going through a struggle right now, I just want to kiss you. And I want to kiss my
We've been
man.
trying to do a hug day.
I want to do a hug and kiss day. Danny Cook is doing the hug day. She ain't come to my events yet, but she always out of town. But she does whatever. But she does the hug. Very powerful social media source. So that's what Danny Cook is, right? But she does the hugs day. I want to do a hug and kiss day, and I invite the men, cause I think us men don't get loved enough, don't get enough love. And that's what T.D. Jakes was talking about, and Judy is about to post it.
I'm going to post it.
It's hard to be a man, right? But, I want to give that same feeling that same feeling that women gives to each other, that love moment. Because we need love, we need guidance, we need strength, and that's why we dedicate everything we do. Or we're dedicating Sunday to the men. We're even having a Father's Day prayer breakfast Saturday, 10 to 12?
No, it can't be this Saturday.
Oh, it can't? Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to put it another day because there's so many things. Lynette is doing a mom and dad's day event. I think there's something that starts even in the morning. We got a bunch of things on Saturday. So we'll be out and about Saturday.
No, you done had me to put that all on Virginia's time thing, or her prayer call, whatever.
Yeah, it was her prayer call, but we have
But
to
it's
release
okay.
an
It's
address
cool.
anyway,
It's
and we
cool.
have to release
Yeah, I
anything.
did. I told him.
You told him?
Yeah, I told him when we
told
stayed. But anyway, just come on by. If we still here, come on by.
Right, text us first.
We'll put it on the spot.
We might
We'll
be
put
here.
you on.
But,
we'll put it on the spot and come up with some. Come up with some toast or something. But anyway.
Toast, eggs, bacon,
But
grits. I got grits. I know how to make
But
good
seriously
cheesy
though,
grits.
we unedited because we feel that you know, people need to hear these things that we talk about, and it needs to be real, and it needs to come straight from the heart.
Yeah.
That's why we do bedroom talks, what we talk about in privacy. We open it up for dialogue with
With others.
with others. So I appreciate everybody that stay tuned in.
Oh, look at all those
Simone
people.
Winter,
Thank you.
I'm about to give you a shout out for your comments, and also Marva Wilson. Thank you for loving what you're hearing,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, you know, they see me online and they just try to stroll down because they like he gonna come on and talk about a bunch of nothing. But anyway, we love y'all, but God loves you more.
Bye-bye.